Are you familiar with the PARS system?
I'm familiar with PARS. I am
And
familiar.
what do you think about the implementation of the system here in Philadelphia?
Well, I know it's a controversial thing. I mean, and I probably come out somewhere in the middle of it, to be honest. I think obviously the biggest problem that we have with PARS is, number one, what is its real purpose? And is it achieving its purpose? So I think it's not achieving its purpose. That really draws into question, well, PARS itself is fine. It's just the preliminary arraignment reporting system. The question is making that data available to the immigration service, especially the enforcement end of it, ICE. So when we provide that information to ICE, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to track violent felons and those type of persons with existing criminal histories, to be able to arrest them because those persons have been committing crimes and have not been caught. Practically speaking, that has not happened. What they have done is they have arrested persons, some of them who have committed no crimes, some of them who have really very low-level misdemeanors, and they have kind of put them through for deportation. The deportation issue is one where if someone is not documented or not properly here, if they are caught for whatever reason, you know, they ran a red light or they were in a car accident, someone checked and found out they're not documented, would they be subject to deportation? They would. It's not a criminal matter, and many times those persons are released and they are able then to go through hearings and things like that. It is also true that while we hear about, you know, really unfair cases where people have been pushed through and deported very rapidly, and that's you know, something of great concern for everybody. There are also many cases where people are well known to the Immigration Service as being undocumented, and they are released to go back into the community and appear at the next hearing, and the next hearing, the hearing after that, eventually to see if there's some way that they can go from undocumented status to documented status. So the issue for us as a city is when we participate with the Immigration Service in the Secure, you know, Communities program, and in particular with the PARS data, are we creating a greater good or greater harm? And I think that the harm of it comes from the mistrust that is developed between the city and its immigrant communities. The fear, and that fear results in, you know, a very poor quality of life for people who don't need to live that way, number one. Number two, our greatest fear, of course, is that people who are the victims of crime or who are aware of, you know, really, you know, like human trafficking, don't report it. They don't come forward because they don't want to be identified and deported, or maybe it's not even them. Maybe they live with someone, they know someone, they're just very suspicious that any type of participation with the government will lead to the deportation of somebody. Now the city does not share information about victims or witnesses in the PARS, in the preliminary arraignment. That's been restricted. But, you know, it is a matter of whether or not, you know, there is a greater good or a greater harm that comes from, you know, participation in the system. I will say that City Council itself last year unanimously passed a resolution urging the mayor not to renew its contract with ICE. And I generally, as someone who is very much focused on having a very immigrant-friendly, you know, city, and looking for even more growth from our immigrant communities, which is why we have grown as a city, certainly do not want to encourage fear or mistrust of living in Philadelphia. I think we are actually probably the beneficiaries of some population moving to our city just because they felt very unwelcome in the communities where they were.